Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. And I usually don't make a severe weather video unless it's really alarming, and at this point this may be something that is definitely sparking a warning sign that this may turn out into a major outbreak, severe weather outbreak. So we'll be talking about who will get impacted, by what they will get impacted, and where the impacts will be. But before we do that, if you want to support my channel, if you want to support what I do, you could subscribe. You could see there's a button. You could just click on it. Not this button, but it's further down in the YouTube page that you're watching it on. And you're subscribed, and that helps out my channel. So you could do that. And let's jump right into this. So you can see the enhanced area is fairly large, which is one concern. The second concern is that the area population is insane. It's over 7 million people. And there's lots of major cities like Nashville, Louisville, Huntsville, Evansville, and Clarksville. And all of these areas will be potentially impacted by tornadoes, damaging wind, and extremely large hail. So that is definitely something we need to keep an eye on for. Those three things, those three weather, precipitation, excluding the tornado, or the wind, just those three factors. And slight area risk is over 13 million of people, and then marginal area is 24 million people. But again, another thing I wanted to talk about is they already put this into enhanced area, and this is only day 2, so this is for tomorrow. They could still bring this up to a moderate. I highly doubt it will be a high, but they could bring this up to a moderate, especially since the conditions are growing very nicely along with this. It's sunny in those locations right now. The instability is at its insane levels, so there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So this is definitely something that could turn into a major severe weather outbreak. So you can see these are the areas. If you're wondering, enhanced level area risk is obviously the one that is the most severe out of the categorical outlook. So again, I think it could get upgraded to moderate level, but that is up to the Storm Prediction Center. So now let's go to the actual radar and or how the radar will look in the future. So you can see that it's associated with this giant system. Sorry about that. That is located right here across North South Dakota and western Minnesota, and it's spinning all these squall lines of storms back and forth as it's moving slowly to the east. So let's move this forward. You can see this is hour 9, hour 6, hour 12. You can see these individual storms. This is also going to pose a threat for today. Today there's an outlook again also for enhanced area, but it's much less big of an area. There's less people that live in it, and I don't think it has a chance of getting upgraded to moderate at this point. But again, this could be a very dangerous night, even if it's not in the moderate area. So you can see those storms die off, these ones right here. Well, let's zoom in on this actually. So let's go to continental US, regional, and let's go to Midwest, since that is where most of the action will be occurring. So you can see by hour 12 these supercells are going to be organizing, but then they quickly die down as the daytime heating shuts down. But tomorrow early in the morning or overnight, there could be a line of thunderstorms and rain that will be passing through the Chicago area and southeastern Wisconsin. You can see this does continue into areas like Indiana, Indianapolis, Evansville, Indiana again, Columbus, Ohio. Those areas could all get impacted. Cincinnati definitely. But with the daytime heating, these poor people may get impacted by another squall line that will be developing right along here. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right there. With the daytime heating, you can see another squall line right there developing of strong winds, insanely large hail, and potential tornadoes, especially with these little discrete cells. And now with this is where most of the threat will be coming from. This is why they posted the enhanced risk, if not moderate risk. So let's go down to now regional, and let's move on down to the Ohio Valley. And you can see that let's move it back. So that's the first squall line right there. Could pose some threats, especially with these little tiny storms. They're tiny and they're small, but they could still pose as much or even more danger than these squall lines. So that passes through. You could see kind of weakens as it goes through, but this is the second squall line, and this one may be a beast of a storm. So you can see up north again, mainly a damaging wind threat, but down further here, do you see those cells? 1, 2, 3. This type of weather setup we usually see in the plains, but this we see in the Ohio Valley, which doesn't happen too often, first of all. Second of all, the other concern is with this that there's a lot more people living here than in the plains, so this is definitely not a good sign. You can see that later on there's just more of them start erupting, and these type of cells, not the ones in a line, because those could also produce tornadoes, but these ones are just so prone to getting a tornado produced by them. And the reason for that is, if it's a small singular storm, it gets much more easier spun by the wind, and the rotation and shear in the atmosphere can spin it much more quicker than a whole line of these thunderstorms, which is harder to penetrate for the wind, and it's harder for it to spin. So these small little storms are definitely going to be packing a punch, and you can see that later on it dies down, but still the threat continues on. And the next day you can see again, I think they'll have another enhanced risk for this is Saturday, so I think they might even, yeah, so this is definitely something we'll need to keep an eye on for. Saturday we might need to there might be another event that might be posted, another another enhanced area. If you go back right now, only for Saturday right now there's only marginal, and yeah, it's right there, but I think that may be extended to an enhanced or at least slight area. So yeah, that is a lot of storms. As you can see, there's a lot to handle, and each of these storms can be very impactful, very strong, very powerful. So this is definitely not something to joke around with. If you go to mixed layer cap, which is convective available potential energy, which you may think that, and you probably are thinking it the right way, that the more energy there is in that atmosphere, the more energy the storms will have, and the more powerful the hail, the damaging winds, and the tornadoes will be. So if we go, you can see right there a lot of insanely potential energy right there. But again, does that mean that the thunderstorms will be right over where the potential energy is? No. The thunderstorms will develop in their own little area, but it's depending on how much available energy there's in that area. So right now we're getting into the next day. You can see this is Friday, and there's a ton of potential energy for that day, and this is when the thunderstorms, the individual ones, will be breaking out. So they will take advantage of this, and they will just basically blow up in size, and they could, again, you can see those thunderstorms right there hogging up that energy. That's why it's turning into those little lack of energy areas, because the thunderstorms just take up all the energy, suck it in, and they drop it as rain, damaging wind, and hail. So that is definitely a fascinating thing. But you can see, if you go to most unstable, convective available potential energy, which is at the, obviously the most unstable, which means more energy, you can see that it goes more defined, and right there again, just absolute insane amounts of energy. So that is definitely something that the thunderstorms will take advantage of and will definitely use. And now we could take a look at the precipitation. So let's go to total accumulated precip. But again, I don't like to use this because this always seems to be more widespread than it actually is, because again, if you get one thunderstorm over the same location, that could lead to lots and lots of rain and flooding, not necessarily what you may expect with just one thunderstorm. So you can see that where these two squall lines pass, and there could be some areas, I mean, look at that, 3.1 around central Ohio, and then go further to the east, it's 1.5, further to the south is 0.8. So these are very localized amount, and you can see where these thunderstorms set up, it could be up to 5 inches of rain. So definitely quite a bit of rain, quite a bit of potential for forming, and this is definitely something we will need to keep an eye on for. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys got updated by this. Hopefully you will know what to do if you live in this area, and you will be prepared and you know what's coming. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, see you guys in the next episode.